Welcome back. As Republicans celebrate the passage of the big, beautiful bill, attention now turns to the Senate, where a rescission package is due next week. House Speaker Mike Johnson already teasing plans for 2 more significant reconciliation packages over the coming year. But the mega bill already in court over the Medicaid funding cuts to Planned Parenthood. Democrats are preparing targeted campaign ads against the bill going into re-election next year. Joining me now is Louisiana Congressman and House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be.
And congrats to you and your colleagues for passing this big, beautiful bill. Tell us about the impact.
Quite historic, Maria. It's going to be great for American families who have been struggling. I mean, look, for 4 years, people struggled under Joe Biden. High inflation, high interest rates, high costs at the grocery store. All that is going to be turning around. You're going to see, number one, more jobs. Millions more jobs will be created. Trillions of more investment. People investing in America again because of this bill, stabilizing the tax code. Nobody gets a tax increase. I'd love, Maria, for every Democrat who's out bashing this bill, ask them this basic question. Will you pay the higher tax rate that you voted for all Americans? Because every Democrat voted no, which means they voted for a higher tax rate for everybody in America. Will they pay that higher tax rate, or are they going to take the benefits of this bill? There's a lot of hypocrisy out there, because this bill delivers a lot of great things for a lot of people. No tax on tips. One of the great hallmarks President Trump said that he would do on the campaign trail. Everybody who's a tip worker is going to get it. I'll tell you something, Maria, I've been talking about with constituents just in the last few days back home that they didn't even know about this bill. So not only do we say no tax on overtime, but let's say you're a cop, let's say you're a nurse, and you work overtime hours. This bill is retroactive to January, to when Donald Trump took office. So all the taxes you paid on your overtime this year, you're going to get that money back when you file your return. That's going to be more money in your pockets. These are blue-collar workers. These aren't the millionaires and the billionaires that the Democrats have been lying about this bill. This is blue-collar workers that get the benefits of this bill, plus more energy production, more border security. We revamp and modernize America's whole air traffic control system. You know, we've seen all these horrible reports. LaGuardia being shut down for days, every air flight in America being canceled because we're running off of floppy disks, for goodness sakes. We fixed that in this bill. Sean Duffy, the great job he's been doing over at Transportation, they will now have the resources to modernize America's air traffic control system. Every Democrat voted against that, Maria.
Well, they're going to try to use this bill against you. You know that in the upcoming re-election for 2026. How are you going to navigate that?
Well, we're going to tell the truth while they're out lying. You know, we've always said, if you keep lying about us, we're going to keep telling the truth about you. They've been saying everybody's going to die. You know, every hospital's going to close. Well, a year from now, Maria, we're actually going to be able to see results. It's all the hyperbole that you saw them saying on the House floor. They were all lies. You know, disabled people will get better Medicaid under this bill because all of the fully able-bodied, the 35-year-old guy sitting at home playing video games in his mom's basement, he's going to have to go work because we put work requirements in place. And so he will not be crowding out disabled people in Medicaid. It's a crowded program. It's not the best form of health care right now. And so we're going to make that program work better for the people that are truly disabled and needy, not for somebody who's turning down work. And by the way, when he gets a job, he's going to get health care with his job that's better than Medicaid. So, you know, these are all components of the bill that they've been lying about. The truth is going to be something that the American people like because these are all things that President Trump campaigned on, and so did we.
Let me ask you, Congressman, about Joe Biden. Speaking of health, the former president's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, pleading the fifth on key questions yesterday from the House Oversight Committee over the cover-up of Joe Biden's health and mental decline. Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett claims that she has zero concerns about the former president. Watch this.
It's kind of astounding to hear someone say, if you invoke the Fifth Amendment, that is only because you are guilty. We have a constitutional right that anyone who may be under fire can invoke. I think that he did what any good lawyer would advise him to do. I didn't see Joe Biden every single day, but I did have an opportunity to interact with the president. I never had a concern. He may get fumbled up by words, but that's not anything new, and it's not anything that came with age. We know that this is someone that was born with a stutter that ultimately had to get over it.
So what about that, Congressman? I mean, we're all trying to understand who exactly was running the country for the last 4 years and who was using the auto pen. I asked President Trump who he wants to see questioned, and he said it was Lisa Monaco that he'd like to see questioned, the former deputy AG behind Merrick Garland. Your reaction to all of this and the fact that now his doctor is taking the fifth? Can't get answers from Kevin O'Connor.
Yeah. Yeah, first, this is not somebody who's been stumbling over words, Maria. Everybody in America has watched this cognitive decline for years. You know, some in the far left media act like this was some new revelation at the debate where President Trump destroyed Joe Biden in the debate. It had been going on before that, and everybody knew about it. But the left was covering up, including the media in the left. And so, you know, let's not play that game. However, we're really concerned about things like the use of the auto pen. The auto pen wasn't just used to sign some congratulatory note for somebody who turned 100. They were signing pardons with the auto pen, other really important documents. And then now there are people testifying saying Joe Biden probably didn't even know it was being used. Well, if so, who was? You know, why was somebody using President Biden's signature without President Biden's own knowledge? Yeah, we're digging into things like that. His doctor raises a lot of questions when you're asked, you know, were you ever pushed into lying about Joe Biden and you plead the fifth? You know, it raises a lot of serious questions, Maria, and we're going to keep digging to get answers.
I mean, we know that right after the tapes came out from the Robert Hur interview, where we would have been able to see exactly how Biden answered those questions, suddenly the Democrats come up with, an admission that Joe Biden has prostate cancer, right? I mean, you know, how does that show up so fast? I mean, look, we've been questioning Biden's health on this program from almost the moment he stepped into office. Watch this. We know that Biden is weak. We're not sure about his mental capacity. We know somebody else is running things, but the alternative is even worse. Kamala Harris. How is that presidential story going to look? One concern the Democrats have for Biden 2024 is his age and health. I mean, look, we all watch him. It doesn't bring anybody any joy to point out cognitive issues. So, I mean, look, if I'm there saying this back in 2021, Congressman, we know lots of people were recognizing what was going on with Joe Biden, not to mention Congress. You and your colleagues raised it many times. So it's no surprise. Can they continue to just take the fifth and not address this? Don't people deserve to know who made some of those policy decisions?
Yeah, and Maria, people want to know the truth. The American people deserve to know the truth. And we have some people who are talking. There were some people in the Biden White House who are talking to Chairman Comer's committee. You know, you were spot on in 2021. I had a number of my colleagues. We were all talking about this back then because you could see it. It wasn't just something that we were trying to throw at the wall. It was something everybody that saw Joe Biden could see. They scripted him. They limited his schedule severely. They kept a really close bubble around him so people couldn't talk to him. He didn't do press conferences. Donald Trump does press conferences every day, freewheeling. But look, you know, I have Republicans that went on Jake Tapper's show to say he had a cognitive decline, and Jake Tapper read him the Riot Act, called him all kind of crazy names. Now he's got a book saying, gee whiz, we just realized it. No, he didn't. He knew it back then, and he was playing pit bull for the far left to attack any Republican who said there was a decline. The American people have figured this out. The Democrat Party is still in denial. So as you know, you saw the clip from Crockett. They're trying to still cover up for it. They're still in denial about why they lost the election. Look, their party's being run by socialists. Go look in New York City. That's who they are. That's who their party is. And that's not where the American people are. We're fighting for blue-collar, hardworking families, and they're still yelling lies about millionaires and billionaires and people dying in the streets, and they wonder why they keep losing elections.
Congressman, real quick before you go, these attacks on ICE agents, the Democrats do not want to see ICE agents coming in and taking out illegals from the country. What should be done about this?
Well, first of all, it's criminal. You are seeing the President Trump and the Justice Department going aggressively after anybody who's attacking ICE agents, whether they're slashing tires or whether they're ambushing and trying to murder them in shootouts. They're going to do hard jail time. It's federal crime to attack and assault a federal officer. And so it's being fueled by the left, though. Make no doubt about it, Maria. When you see Democrat politicians at the highest levels still out there publicly bashing ICE agents, the Democrat Party, who tried to defund police, is now trying to defund ICE. They want chaos. They don't want rule of law. We are fighting for rule of law, and the ICE agents are doing a wonderful job. These are heroes. These are people getting the pedophiles off of our streets, hardened criminals, gang leaders from foreign countries that Joe Biden let in. They're the ones that are getting them out of our country to keep our communities safe. And the Democrat Party wants to go after them. Shame on them, Maria.
All right, we will leave it there and keep watching it. Congressman, it's good to see you as always. Thank you so much.
Always great to be with you, Maria. Thanks.
And to you, Steve Scalise. Quick break, and then investors.